Thank you for doing this. As a child, I was a big fan of The Karate Kid. I saw it at the drive-in with my family and was hooked. And then when they announced Cobra Kai, I was kind of skeptical, as you must be these days with all the remakes and reboots and everything. But then after watching just a single episode, I was really hooked. So I want to ask you first, back in the 80s, how did you become part of the Karate Kid? How did that all start for you?
Well, I auditioned for John Avildsen, who directed the film, and all three in the trilogy I was involved with. And, I went to his apartment in New York City, and I brought in my, East Coast kind of cockiness, and although it wasn't backed up by anything, but that's a piece of who LaRusso has become. And we just hit it off right away. He said to me right away that this is something that I should maybe make some plans for, but I didn't have the official word, but I felt pretty good. It took a lot longer than that to get it officially down. But I went in his apartment and read the scene with Pat Morita when Daniel LaRusso realizes that Mr. Miyagi has a superpower and could maybe teach him how to fend off the bullies. So with that, I will pass it on to how William got involved.
And then after Ralph was cast, they brought us a bunch of guys like me out to a field, and they put Ralph in the middle, and then he had to run.
That's kind of it.
We all had to chase him. Whoever was the fastest got the part. I wasn't the fastest, but I beat that guy up, so I got it. No, that's the version I have never told. Auditions. I just had a call. I had a just a cold audition back in the day. Not so cold. Actually, the casting directors knew me from another audition. They thought I might be right for this character, Johnny Lawrence. Cara Jones and Penny DuPont. I went into their trailer. They handed me a script. They said, there's a new movie we're doing called Karate Kid. I think you're great for Johnny. I went home and read the script. He's a black belt. He's a motorcycle gang leader. I didn't know karate, never rode a motorcycle. He's the prick of the show. And I'm like, wow, how am I this guy? And then I got towards the end of the movie, and the end when he kind of turns around a little bit, and kind of connected with him there. But it was a series of auditions for me. And then I read with Ralph was my final audition. And then after that, we were off.
Yep.
I like my first version better, where we all had to chase Ralph.
They're both good.
I got to stick with that.
He scared the crap out of me. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was who could scare Ralph the most.
He did. It was a great day at Bungalow One in the Columbia Pictures lot. Of me walking up that day and seeing all these guys that I had a sort of snapshot into. Okay, so for about the next 11 weeks, one of these guys is going to be throwing me all over the place. So I just picked the best one. It was as simple as that. I had nothing to do with it. Billy did it all.
The one who didn't know any karate.
Yeah, right.
I'll go with that guy.
That makes two of us.
Right.
So what was your reaction to the film when you first saw it back then? And also then what was your reaction of the fans like? Because you were in Tiger Beat and all those great magazines back then. I know my sister had your poster on her wall, Ralph. So what was it like for you first to experience it? And also what was it like to experience it from the fan reaction?
I got to see the movie for the first time in its entirety with a full audience in Manhattan, New York City at the Baronet Theater. It was a sneak preview, and I sat in the back of this theater. I walked in there kind of just like a regular Joe, and I walked out of there sort of the guy who just won the football game in Texas. You know what I mean? It was an out-of-body experience to watch an audience follow this kid and connect with him, and and then it was me. It was beyond. It was beyond at that time, and all those things, all those elements that were so well put together in the script, Robert Mark Heyman's script and John Avildsen's direction, and all the pieces and the casting from Pat to Billy to Lisa, Elizabeth Shue, and everyone. It just everything just worked. It seemed like, okay, so let's just keep doing this for the rest of my life. It was. Everybody was doing the crane out in the street, after the movie was over. I always talk about that, like when you come out of a musical and you're singing that song and you can't get it out of your head, you have a hit. So we kind of felt that way.
No. Same for me. It was in Westwood. It was the premiere, and I had, the last I saw was doing some ADR on the movie, and I remember doing it, and all of a sudden there it was. And I was on my feet. My favorite part in the movie was when Daniel says, you know, when Miyagi says show and does all the punches and kicks. And when that happened, it was just magic. And, you know, and, you know, surreal seeing yourself on the big screen for the first time. I was 18 years old. It was a thrill. After the movie, you know, nobody was doing the head snap back or ass kick in the parking lot. So I was, you know, I wasn't, didn't experience what Ralph did, but, you know, I had some guys, hey, you're the guy who was just beating him up the whole movie. I'm like, yeah. So it was great. It was, I mean, what a moment. I'll never forget being in Westwood with all the Cobras, Rob Garrison, Ron Thomas, and the guys we all went and saw it together. And walking through the downtown Westwood after that, just feeling like something really cool just happened, you know, and it did.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing film. I remember as a kid the chills I got watching it. Like the scene that you mentioned, but also, of course, the big ending. It's like, it's perfect Hollywood. The music goes up, the fans are on their feet, and in your heart, you're like, you know, it's kind of like something you can latch onto as a young kid and say, you know what? You could find that kind of warrior in yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big part of what it is, that aspirational, inspirational characters that are the guys you grew up with, the guys you knew, and you felt you were part of that. And that's always what I say about the Daniel LaRusso character in that film. He had no business winning anything, but he made us all feel that we can achieve these goals. So it's that sort of thrust of adrenaline and the empowerment. So that's just great storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
So when you fast forward 30 years, Cobra Kai is brought up, were you apprehensive at all to join?
I was not necessarily with these the creators, John, Josh, and Hayden of Cobra Kai, or to do the story with Billy. It was more about saying no for so long and just leaving this sort of precious piece of pop culture alone. You know, it's like, how do you fix that? How do you, well, fix isn't the word, but how do you even expand on that and do the continuation of that? So I was concerned that it would miss the mark, but I also believe that these guys had its best interests at heart. They were super fans of the original Karate Kid and had just a great angle for Billy's character, for Johnny Lawrence, and how to flip the script on this guy or come in from that perspective. And then it seemed fresh. And then where LaRusso falls into that world. And now as we finish out season 4 and entering season 5 about to drop in September, this continuation has led to more layers and gray areas and onion layers peeled off these characters that makes it look like we made the right decision.
Yep. I agree. I was excited. I think I was ready more to go. I always felt I had unfinished business with Johnny Lawrence. I played around with some ideas. I did a music video and had some fun with it. There was definitely an audience out there for it. So I knew Josh. I worked with them on Hot Tub Time Machine, and I knew John and Hayden. So when they called to meet, they didn't tell me what it was about. They wanted to meet, and they said they have a great, exciting project to discuss. And I thought it may be Harold and Kumar Part 10, or, who knows what.
At times it is.
I didn't know what they're going to drop on me. And then next thing, they sit me down in a Mexican restaurant and they say, Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence. And then they just spitballed Cobra Kai as we know it over maybe 20 minutes and kept the waiter away. And, by the end, my head was spinning. And I said, well, you can't just dive in and do something like this. I mean, there's a lot of people involved. There's IP involved. And they said they had everything signed off, that Sony was behind it, and all the people that needed to line up behind it were already on board, and it was now down to coming to me and Ralph, and I was first, and then I said, okay. So after the pitch, I was cautiously optimistic. I was excited, but also a little bit like, wait, what is this? Is this, Karate Kid's such a family film? Was this going to go too far to the left or right? Is it going to be too crazy? And they're going to find the right tone. But anyway, afterwards they said, so you in? I said, well, I'm in at this point. We hadn't seen anything yet. I like what I'm hearing. And then they said they had to go get Ralph. And I really said, good luck. They were going to New York. I said, good luck with that. Get him some broccolini, I think I said, because it was a secret of his youth or something.
We had plenty of food. Yeah.
So then that was that. So yeah, I think we both stepped into it, the way everybody viewed it, we were very cautious, very protective of it, and we still are, of our characters and over what our responsibility to the original film and the franchise is. And but we're in great hands. We have a great team, and now we're on season 5's about to come out, and we have a good formula, and we're thankful and comfortable with it and excited about it.
I spoke with the creators last year, and you're in good hands, man. Their passion for the series.
Yeah.
It just shows every word. It's like, and they're getting excited just talking to me about it, like kind of reflecting on it. And it's like, wow, man, it's great to know you can just kind of sit back and relax and enjoy the ride, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't necessarily sit back and relax, but we feel the wind in our sails and the confidence. Yeah. It's always, I mean, but I think that's what adds to the dimension of the characters. And as they develop and evolve even further is the fact that we're not necessarily just saying, okay, we could coast now. These guys are awesome. They are awesome, but it's also about that collaboration and always trying to up the ante on these characters going forward and finding that depth. And the competition that is in the show is also part of, okay, so me in this scene or this story arc, I'm thinking this. And so you're always adding, ingredients. It's just, you can't overblow it. And they are the tiebreakers, and they're the ones that have that bird's eye view of the whole canvas. And so we definitely trust that. And it's yielded a decent amount of fruit.
Yeah. The first time you were back on set, what was that like? That had to be kind of surreal to jump back into those roles.
Yeah, I think my first scene in the whole series was with Ed Asner, which was a super thrill. So I got jumped in high, and he was amazing to work with. And this is bottom Johnny. This is Johnny eating bologna, and Johnny coming out of jail, hungover, and getting to work with Ed Asner. So coming in, I mean, it's really, for me, it's almost like playing a whole different person. I mean, they're both different people. This is 30 some years later with a whole life experiences that we bring to the characters and that they've written into the backstory. So that was exciting. I think, I mean, the moment where it felt like, oh, here's the show is when Ralph came on set and we did our first scene in the dojo. And, we both came in and he walks in the mat, and it was just, something happened. As soon as that scene was over and he walks in and says, I hear you're picking on some kids. And I say those assholes, they deserved it. And there's that tension in that moment between us and all this. And as soon as they said cut, everybody applauded and felt like, wow. But we knew there's something there. It felt it was back. What was there in Karate Kid is there now, but in an adult version in this context.
Yeah, it's interesting about that. And we both tell the same story. There are a few times when you're shooting or making a piece of, whether it's a movie or television or a theater, even that you at the moment, this is the moment. Like it feels bigger than everything else. And that day was more, for me, it was like, okay, let's see what happens. It was my first day. They shot about 2 or 3 days by then, maybe more. And that was my first day. And the way it came together, it's really, it's because what I didn't know is because we both walked in these shoes connected to this entity for 34 years from 2 totally different perspectives. And all of that, without trying, was all under the surface of the dialogue. So there was a richness in performance that came from this life lived as actors, as men, as husbands, as fathers, as Billy, as Ralph, as Johnny and Daniel. And so that was really, that was a special moment. And that was like, whoa, the silent conversation between us. It was just, I think we have something. We both said those things to each other through, from across the mat, and credit John, Josh, and Hayden for setting that up, and whoever scheduled the shooting schedule, because it was the perfect scene to launch it.
Do you have a favorite scene or moment of the series today?
So many of them. There's one without, for sure. For me, visiting Miyagi's grave for the first time was really, it's also that episode 5 in season 1. It's sort of the first time in that season where it felt the most Karate Kid to me, as far as the heart and the soul, because Miyagi was the soul of the original film. So connecting to that was another level moment. But so many. It's too many to name, because some working with the kids incredible, and which is, you know, the whole ensemble. So
yeah.
Billy, you have anything specific?
I love the scene. I like the scene when in season 1, when I came to the karate board and you're behind the table, and
Oh yeah, it's great.
Johnny's trying to get Cobra Kai back and inducted, and Daniel's like, no, you don't know who's connected to this guy. And, you know, and Johnny's sincerely trying to change, and that speech that kind of sets off where he's coming from. I love that scene. I love the way it was written. I love the way it was shot. And, you know, I love just the disjointedness of it. But then, like Ralph said, how do you pick one? That done 50 episodes of this now, so it's like there's so many great moments with the young cast, and with Elizabeth Shue, who came back, and with my original Cobra Kai's the scene, you know, we went to Big Bear and we had that moment that was super special. And Ralph and I have had some really fun, tasty things to do, and comedy and drama and fighting, action, and so it would be really hard to pick one, but that one in season 1 sticks out, probably because it was the launching season.
Yeah.
It's kind of set the tone for it.
The world has really grown. All right, I need to close out, so let me just finish with this. Can you each give me 3 words to describe the other's character, but can you do it as your character? So
do it as our character.
Yes. You don't have to, you can act it out if you want to, but just, you know, from their mindset.
So,
Describing the other character from the perspective of each of our characters. Okay.
Yes.
Means well. I'll throw one out. Daniel means well. Your turn, LaRusso.
Stubborn.
This is like therapy.
Mirroring.
Overconfident.
No, it's tough because one word. I mean, you know, means well is 2 words.
Those are
So
2
you're
words.
done. You're done.
Over.
You can throw hyphens in there.
What did I say?
Stubborn.
But there's a flip side to that. Well-intentioned, that's 2 words with a question mark. And LaRusso would say that you're well-intentioned.
Mm-hmm. I think 2 is all we could give you, buddy.
I know.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it.
At the end of season 6, maybe we'll have more, but that's really no. I think LaRusso's a good overall. I think he's a good family man. He has a lot to learn. He's a little soft, but he's hardening up, and he actually has some wisdom. I don't know if that's him
Or just what he's handing down.
Or he's handing down.
Yeah,
but he's a good guy, and I wish we didn't get off on the wrong foot. Yes.
Literally on the wrong foot.
Yeah, I wish you didn't take that. I wish you didn't take that first swing.
It's actually the right foot.
Yeah, I wish you'd have left Allie alone. And this is really.
And we would have had no franchise.
You left her alone. You know, Freddie was a nice guy. Go hang out with those guys. Let me have Allie. And I would have seen you in the hallway. I would have seen you in the hallway. Yeah, but who did you want? We'd probably be on the same soccer team.
They're kind of different but same, if you will. Mm-hmm. Right? They are. Russo and Lawrence.
I think works in progress, and I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Right.
This has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Congrats on the series so far, and I'm looking forward to season 4. Or season 5. I'm sorry, season 5.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Steven.
Thanks, man.
Have a great day.
Steven.
All right, man. You too.
Thank you. Bye now.